Alrighty. So we're here for the financial management training. I am the RSO financial coordinator. And then this is the best email to go ahead and do correspondence or if you have any questions to go ahead with. Um, yeah.
Okay.
So next slide here is more information on how to get in contact with me. That is our location at the cashier's office here, SBS 285 on the second floor. And this is the general number if you need to get a hold of us. We are at the cashier's window, and this is our cashier's number. Someone can answer the questions if you have them. And again, there's our email. Here's also a location for us. That's us right there in that nice little circled building. Why we have to have this training? It is a financial management training required by the CSU Chancellor's Office. This is how you get access to your student funds, to do fundraisers, get donations, and then host activities and things like that. It is required by the president and treasurer and advisor of each club or RSO. It is a mandated training. Another thing I want to make sure we are aware of and have access to or know where it is the financial handbook. It is a resource for you as a club member to find out what the rules and regulations are. In case I or someone else is out of compliance, you have a handbook, you have a way of referring to it and letting us know, hey, I can do this because it says this here and here. I want that to be a resource for all clubs. What we expect of our leadership, so the president and treasurer, we want you to be able to be involved in your club, know what's going on in your club. If you have a fundraiser, an activity going on, don't just hand it down to somebody else and just say, hey, go take care of it. Because if the RSO coordinator has a question, they're going to be coming to the president and treasurer for the answers. So hopefully you're informed and you know what's going on in your club. And then the other thing that we're expecting is that you keep good records and they're legible. They can be read easily and access easily. The reason why this is important, one, is you won't always be part of your club. You're going to go on to do great things. So your club's going to still exist without you. So we want to make sure it's left with the information they need. So we want to make sure that's one reason. The second reason is all clubs are able to be audited at any time. We want to make sure you have access to the questions that we're going to be looking at to making sure you're following those regulations. And then lastly is making sure that all your club members are following the rules. Unfortunately, if any club member is out of compliance, the whole club is responsible. So that could result in the loss of being able to run and host events. What is a trust account? This is basically your bank account on the school campus. So all the money that you raise will go into this account, and all the money you spend will come from this account. So it's really important that we are familiar with our trust account. You'll see over here to the side, we'll have different CLs, and I'll also show you how to find this if you still need to find it or don't know where it is. One thing to note is right here is that no off-campus banking is allowed. This is very important. We've had clubs, run a fundraiser event and say they have to go on vacation. So instead of dropping it off, they just hold it, but they're like, oh, it's not going to be safe. So I'm going to deposit it in their own bank account and then come back, withdraw it, and try it. If that ever happens, it no longer becomes state funds anymore, and therefore the club loses out on it. So just get it deposited back to us as soon as possible. That's the best way to go. Again, trust account is your bank account, and it's going to be used on all forms you fill out from here on out. This is how you find your trust account. The best way to do it is you can go to the main website at humboldt.edu, and you can just type in chart of accounts in the search bar, and you'll pop up with a couple links. Fund is where you're going to find it. You'll download it. It'll be a nice little spreadsheet. You'll click on the CMP tab, and then you'll open it up, and then you just do a command search and find your club name. Now, if your club name does not exist or you do not find it, it's possible your club doesn't have one. So if that's the case, here's a form where you would fill out to create a new club. Here is the link to where you can find it. Again, all of this will be accessible to you through our website, so this whole PowerPoint as well. So if you want to just click the link in here, or if you want to follow the instructions to find this, you'll just need to fill out the yellow highlighted areas, submit it to me, and then we'll get you a CL account. So yeah. All right, so now that we have our CL account, we know our CL account, which is our campus bank account, we can now start submitting requests. This top portion right here is a request for 25 Live. Now they request that anytime a club is doing a event, a meeting, anything club activity, they want you to put requests in there. for many reasons. Mainly is that they want to know what's going on for liability issues. If something happened to a student while they were on their way to a club meeting or something happened at the club meeting, they have a record of it. They know what it was for. That's the main point. Now, if you're doing anything fundraising wise or financially involved, you do have to have a fundraiser request form. You won't always have to have both. Most of the time, it'll just be the 25 Live stuff, pretty simple. Hey, we're just doing a meeting, that's what we're doing. But if you're doing a fundraiser or expecting any transactions, you do have to fill out the fundraiser request form. They live in two different spots. 25 Live, you can get to that on the club's website. And then also you can get to this form on the club's website here. And then if you have any questions about how to fill out any of these, clubs will help you fill out the fundraiser request form. And then CES at Humboldt will help you fill out 25 Live. Now, in the event that you are going to do a cash transaction or you're going to do any sales or currency exchange, you do have to have cash handling. This is a different training. It is 10 to 15 minutes. It's very quick and short. And we just go over the basics of handling cash and the do's and don'ts and basically make sure the students are protected when they're handling this. Dual custody, you'll see here, is meaning that you have to have two members at all times if you're running an event that has this training. And this is basically a double check system. One person counts, the other one verifies, and making sure that this responsibility isn't solely on one student. That's why we have to have at least two people for the dual custody. Now, fundraisers. This is the fun part, making the funds, getting all the money that you want for your club, and we have many different options. One thing to note, a fundraiser is a service or a good that you are providing that you're being paid for. That is what we want to classify as it could be a performance, it could be selling merchandise, it could be many different things. We have so many different other forms of it. We have online custom ink where you can design a shirt, sell it virtually. It's really nice. You set up a link, share it, everything they take care of. They print the shirt, they'll ship the shirt, and then afterwards, when it's done, they'll ship you a check. This is right here is more of our online store. So if you want to do any online sales or do anything on that app, you would design this. One thing to note, all fundraiser requests, the minimum is 2 weeks notice before your event. So we want to make sure that we have plenty of time to get all the approvals that we need. So make sure we get everything in 2 weeks. If it is a larger event, we do require 1 month. This is something like an auction or maybe a big performance or a guest speaker or a lecture. We want to make sure we have all the reservations and things we need. So that's why we ask for 1 month notice. And the other note is that we want to make sure we take accurate receipting at all events that we're doing. All ticket sales, shirt sales, merchandise being sold. We want to make sure we sell and keep record of everything. The other thing here to note is if you want to have the access to or to allow your customers to purchase with a credit card or debit card, we do have to build an online store. That is the way we can allow it. So if that's something you want to make sure we do in your request an online store for this purpose. Here's an example of the online store and the different things you can do with it. You see that you have membership and dues. Some clubs do decide to charge that. And then on the right, you have a merchandise where it can have an image and a description. One thing to note is when it comes to club dues, there will not be any credit card fees. So if you wanted to charge dues to be a member in your club, we will not charge a fee for using a credit card. Although if it's merchandise or anything else like that, we do charge a fee. And certain items that can be taxed will automatically have tax applied. It is important that you do have access to your club email because all receipts and all transactions recordings will go to that club email. Right here, here's another example of a way to generate funds. This is our donations. So donations is pretty much defined as anything given to your club without a service or good in return. So you may be selling things and people will also want to donate. That is fine. That is not part of the original transaction. This is an example of the giving page that all clubs have access to build. If they don't have one, you can request one. And what I like about this, and I advise all students or clubs to do, is to attach it to all things. Attach it to your email address or email signature, attach it to your social medias. It's fine to have this link anywhere. If they want to click there, go there and donate money to you, that's great. Doesn't really cost you anything to do so. One thing to note, when you are asking for donations, if you are going to solicit that. So you're going to send out an email or request for donations. You do have to get that approved though. So make sure you get a fundraiser request and say, we're soliciting donations. You'll submit a PDF or a Word document of what you request, and they will get audited or edited, I should say, and then returned to you within the day. We also have different types of donations. We have cash and check, and then we have in-kind donations. Main difference is that in-kind is going to be an object that someone's going to donate. So this is going to be very important if you need a computer or something like that, and they want to get a tax credit or a tax. This is what this form is right here. So if you want to give your donor a benefit for donating to your club, you'll have them fill out this form, and then you'll get it submitted, and we can get that for them over to them with a tax receipt. But yeah, this is very nice. Not everyone will opt in for this, but most do. If you want to, you can take the information in and fill it later. It does not have to be at the time of donation. And the last thing that our friends at the donations and GPC and Foundation do for us is our crowdfunding. This is a really big thing that they do for us, and it's a lot of work on their end. So they do ask that you get this approval in way early, and it should be for a certain amount because they do send out a lot of emails and reach out to a lot of past alumni and current donors to try to help fund these crowdfunding campaigns. Excuse me. When it comes to spending your funds, now that we've earned it and worked all really hard to gain all that money, this is how we do it. You'll see this is the form on many slides to come here. This is going to be most of the time what you're going to fill out. One thing to note when we're spending our money, we cannot use any third-party apps. So this is a CSU policy, no Venmo, PayPal, Zelle. They have very strict restrictions on it because they need to see certain things that they aren't allowed to see with that. This does not mean you cannot make a purchase. If you have to go through a vendor that only sells this way, please reach out to us so we can get that approved. Also, one thing to note is that when we are spending our money, we cannot purchase these three things: no drugs, tobacco, or alcohol. This is a CSU state policy, and even a staff member cannot do this either. When it comes to making purchases, and you're going to submit one of these forms, we do require a receipt attached to it, and they all have to be itemized. One reason for this is we do have to make sure that you aren't purchasing any of those three things above. And most commonly, you might go to a restaurant and they will give you a credit card receipt, but not give you the itemized receipt. You do have to ask for that. That is the biggest and most common area where this applies. The next line here, you'll see no personal purchases. This is usually when a club goes for club food, snacks, things like that to like Safeway or Costco. But they're like, oh, I also need I need some toothpaste and things like that for myself. Separate receipts, please. If there's any personal items on there, I will not be able to reimburse you. I know if the teller says, why you have to do two receipts, tell them this guy told you to. All right. So we'll get familiar with this form. This is kind of an explanation of how you fill it out. One thing to note is your club name and your CL number up here at the top will always stay the same. This is pretty much, you can be auto-filled on all forms you do. This right here, this is the key point that's going to change most of the time when you fill this out. The recipient's name is whoever's being paid. That's the best way to think about it. If it's you, it's going to be your information. If you're buying something from a vendor, it's going to be the vendor's information. If you're paying back somebody else in your club, it's going to be their information. We want to make sure we can fill this out as complete as we can. If it's a Humboldt student or faculty or staff member, we want their ID number. And then we make sure we check these boxes, what applies, and then we have the amount that's being requested, the event, and payment request right here, what it was for. Next down here, you have this three signatures. This box right here, you'll see in the travel, this box right here is only pertaining to travel reimbursements. This is going to have the traveler's signature, which should be the same person up here that's being paid. This should be matching. That is the only time this box will be filled in and signed. You do have to get travel approved ahead of time, so making sure that the driver and the trip has been approved. That way I can pay them back. If that is missing, I will not be able to pay them back. Now this part right here, this is where the president or treasurer sign. This is one or the other, not both. And then your advisor down here. It is really important that this whole top part is filled in before we have signatures. I have had clubs turn in with their signatures and leaving this amount requested blank. That is a blank check. We do not want to do that. So we want to make sure that you are approving your club to spend this much money. That's what we're trying to do here. And you'll bring that and attach that with a receipt, and you're good to go. If for some reason we don't have our receipt, it's been lost or damaged, we do have this nice form here, which requires the same signatures as the last form, and you'll fill it out completely as well. If you have one or two of these in a semester, that is not that big a deal. I think the most we had last semester was 3 for one club. That is great. If you have 10 of these or more, we are not following rule number 1 of keeping good receipting. So we may have an issue and may have to reevaluate our fundraising. Now, when it comes to making a purchase to a vendor, we do have a pro card that we can use for the clubs. This could be purchased on anything online, invoices, links, pretty much almost anywhere a credit card is accepted, even occasionally over the phone. We do request that you fill all this out with the vendor's information and then provide me with the link or invoice or something that directs me to the payment and shows the payment. Sometimes you won't know exactly how it is depending on tax and shipping. That's okay. We do recommend that you put in over the amount that you think it might be. I can always pay up to that, but I can never go more than you put in there. This little box can take an account for checking or for tax and shipping charges that are unaccounted for. Now, when it comes to reimbursements, same form again, surprise. This is most typically done because you may have bought in purchases for snacks, things like that for your club, and you're trying to get reimbursed for it. You'll fill this out completely. You'll bring it to me at the window. And if with the receipts attached, and if it's under $300, I'll go ahead and pay you back out at the window right there. You're done. If it's over $300, it will go to you as a check. Now, you can also request this as a check at any point. We do try to get it at a higher amount because writing a check does cost a lot of money. So we try to make sure we keep it at this limit. That's why the limit is set like this. There is a whole nother step. Once you request a check, you will have to fill out another form that I will send to you. And one thing to note is that form, this form, and your student center all have to match on the address. All that information has to be the same. So you want to make sure all of it is updated as you go. When it comes to travel, same form, surprise, surprise. This current policy is that you get reimbursed after your travel. Now, currently, that could be a trip across the country. You might need airplane tickets, Uber, Lyft, hotel rooms, registration fees. All of those things apply. You'll purchase all that, and then you'll save all those receipts. When you return, you will get reimbursed. Now, we are aware that is a lot for students to have on their credit cards or to have that cost be taken out because we do know students, have to pay rent, groceries, things like that. If that is an issue, please come by our office. We do have an alternative way to help assist with these costs, and we can make sure that it works. We just ask that make sure that your club has the funds to support this before you do this. One thing to note is what is determined, what can be reimbursed, is by your club. So your club gets to determine what you want to reimburse. So make sure you have that conversation before any of these purchases are made. So that way we don't have any unsuspecting students buying something thinking they're going to get reimbursed when the club has no intentions to. So before the trip, have that discussion. Deposits. Now, after you've done everything, you collected all the money, we want to have all that money returned with a nice little tally sheet of what you sold, the item you sold, how much it costs, how many you sold, and that gets the total. We want to make sure we put the organization name, the CL number, event, and date on there as well. You can have these deposited returned to us here at the cashier's window between 8 and 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. If for some reason your fundraiser is after hours or we are not open, you could also drop it off downstairs across from the UPD window. There is a mailbox on the wall. You could drop it off in there. If for some reason the building is closed, you can also call this number down here and they will let you in. Now, if your deposit is more than $1,000 in cash, we do ask that you have a UPD escort you on campus. Now, this doesn't matter where you are, whether you're in Arcata, Eureka, Blue Lake, they will come pick you up and bring you back. This is a CSU policy. This is a protection of you and the student and making sure you're taken care of. And they're more than happy to come do so. I also think they also drop you off back at your car, I think. All right, reports. This is one reason why you need to make sure that you're access to your club email because all of these reports get sent to that email. This top one is the most common one that gets sent every Monday morning. You'll see here, this right here, top part will be the club balance. This is what you should have left in your club. And then here's the list of transactions. On this side, you'll see that there is a positive and one in a parentheses. This is a gain or deposit, and this is a subtraction or withdrawal from your account. One reason we also advise that you take good, accurate receipting instructions for your club is because you'll see here, it'll just say reimbursement for supplies. That is as much information you will get from this report because of the way we code things in here. So if you want to know what that $25 went for, I recommend that you keep those receipts on your end and you keep a tally of what you spent $25 for. This note right here is for the online store. This one is more customizable. When you build an online store, you could tell me what you wish to request in this report and you'll get that. So you can get the what was sold, you can get the person's ID number, you can get their name, you can get a lot more information. It's up to you what you want. This report can also be customized on when you want to get it. It doesn't have to be just weekly. You can get it daily. For instance, if you are setting up an event that has pre-sales and you want to know how many people have bought or purchased your event, you can have this come to you daily. This is where we have all our form locations. You'll see right here, the best part to go to. This is our website. This is our student financials website on the main page. You can get there by clicking on the quick links, scroll down to this section right here, click on student financial services, then click right here on club financial services. You'll scroll down and you'll see a list of things right here. This PowerPoint will be located right here. You can click on that, and if you ever need to click in this to use it for your notes or find out any information or use these links in here, you can do so. All the other forms will be here too, and there's links right here for you to use. The other way to get to this is you can use the club's website. I usually go here, click the little search bar, type in clubs, and it's usually the first one on the top. Click that, and then when you're there, you click on the RSO resources, and then here's your list of resources that you have. This should also have my PowerPoint here for you too. But if not, you can always go back the other side. And these links also work. So now that we're coming to the end, what we want to do is we want to make sure we take time to plan our event, make sure we have all the things we need. Once we figure that out, we're going to submit all of the requests. We're going to submit 25 live requests. We're going to submit our fundraising request. And then we're going to record our event. We're going to make sure we keep good records and make sure we have our tally sheets, keep track of all donations, and receipts for reimbursement. You're going to deposit your money after your event with your CL number, your club name, and the date of event, so I know who it goes to. And then you're going to submit any payment requests or reimbursements that might need to happen after your event, and then review it. Take time to think about, did it work well? Did we sell enough? Could we have done something differently? This is what that is for, and then for your future events, maybe get better. Now that we've completed it, if you can scan this with your phone, this will bring up the form that allow you to fill out and agree to following these rules, and you have finished your financial management training. Thank you.